Sorry, I was trying to see how much battery life I actually have left. I didn't check it before I started. Before I hit play, I didn't even check to see what I had left for battery life. So, Lone Ranger, 10 cents, yay. This is a beautiful looking book for this. I would almost recommend this go to CGC as well. And obviously, this is pre-Clayton Moore Lone Ranger, because the whole conception of him in the blue suit comes entirely from the Lone Ranger television show. Before that, he was generally depicted like this, with your red shirt, jeans, the colored boots, gloves, and then he kind of became a quasi-superhero once Clayton Moore came along in tights. Can you imagine if he actually wore tights in the real live Old West? He would have been laughed right off the range. They'd have shot him just for wearing tights. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it's kind of gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. This is a nice looking book. Nice and clean. Nice white pages. This is number 25, by the way. And that's sort of the annoying thing with the Dells. Most of them, they didn't have issue numbers on the cover. You got to look to the indicia. So the Lone Ranger, Volume 1, number 23, May 1950. A little bit of browning around the inside cover, but, that's to be expected. The pages themselves are just starting to tan around the edges. This, I believe, because you see copyright 1947 there. I don't know how well the camera will pick that up. So these look like they were probably comic strip reprints. Also, you can tell because they are all uniform size. So it's probably a comic strip that was reformatted. I'd be willing to bet. We'll look that up just for shits and giggles. But I want to grade this book while it's still in my hand. So you got no spine ticks to speak of. You got a little bit of an abrasion right there, a color flake. One tick there. You got some color chipping along the bottom. It doesn't look like actual paper chipping, just color chipping. Some of you will probably get pissed at me and tell me I handle these books wrong, but feel free to have at it. More color chipping up here. Again, the paper is not chipped, but the color is flaked off the end right there and here. And here's the only real significant damage, that sort of double bend that breaks the color. Some of you will say I should be wearing gloves with a book like this as well. But I did wash my hands just before I started this. Just because I don't want to give these books coronavirus. Again, all this video is just me making myself laugh. So, paper's nice. Centerfold is tight. If I can find it, there it is. So, I want to call this book, I'm going to call it a 7.5. I really kind of want to call it an 8. Except for got a little bit on the color flaking side. And, if it didn't have that one chip there on the spine, I would call this an 8, even with that bend right there. I think I'm going to call it a 7.5. And that might be another thing that I would recommend going to CGC, just because it's an early one. These later ones are in nice shape too, but probably not going to go to CGC. I have noticed that when we put up Lone Rangers, they don't actually go for that much money. They go for maybe $5 or $6 each. Now these will go for a little more than that, I bet, because they're in nicer shape. Usually, a fine is a good Lone Ranger book that we get out of a collection. These are all really nice. These are all, in the 8-ish range, 7.5/8. The other thing about with a lot of these books, and I just did a whole stack of Westerns a couple days ago, they all had the subscription crease. When comic books were sold via subscription through the mail, they used to fold them right in half, put them in a mailer, fold them in half, and there'd be this giant crease right down the middle. And of course, nobody thought anything of it because back then it was a disposable consumer good. You don't think anything of folding the newspaper in half, right? Sorry, just took a sip of soda there. Yeah, so we often get these kind of Dells and Westerns with those subscription folds. These are nice, though. So what did I say that was? 7.5? Oh, and I'll put my glasses on and we're going to look at a few things. So I want to look Lone Ranger. And I'm still in comic book realm. I'm not sure to what degree you can see my iPad screen here. And we're going to go Dell Publishing. Oh, shit, I went to the 4 colors. That's not what I meant to do. And, a lot of, we'll probably see this here. Dell would, put out these one-shots that we today call the 4-color line. I didn't here. But then a lot of times, if it launched a character, most often a licensed character, into their own series, however many issues had been published in the 4-color line would be counted as, if there had been 5 random issues in the 4-color line, then the first issue of the actual comic book series, that was actually in that character's name, would have been number 6. But Lone Ranger, even though he did have some 4 colors, he started at number 1. So 25. Says in near mint that's a $200 book. So what did I give it? I gave it a 7.5. So 140. On eBay, it's not going to bring 140. That'll probably bring. Might be lucky to bring 40, frankly, because like I said, the Lone Rangers don't seem to sell very well. We'll see. But I might recommend that book be CGC'd as well, just because it's a pre-Clayton Moore. Although these are beautiful photo covers, might want to be CGC's as well. I don't know. I'm just gonna write. Do we want to CGC those? Because normally a CGC will bring many multiples of a raw book, but there are, in my estimation, there are certain books that will bring many multiples of many multiples, just because in the back issue market, which is dominated by the superhero fanboy geeks, that's what they're going for, and there won't be a lot of competition for a Lone Ranger, the kind of competition that would drive up the price. But in the CGC market, you tend to get the older, the more seasoned, the frankly richer person with more of a disposable income. All of the factors are there that you might get a couple of people who really want this book and will drive the price up. So, it might be worth doing CGC just because of the book it is. Meaning a book that normally wouldn't do as well raw as it might in CGC. If I don't know if I'm explaining that well there, but you get what I'm trying to say, maybe. I hope. So I've already gone through and looked at the issue numbers on these Lone Rangers, and again, they are not in the not on the cover. They are actually in the indicia here, and we'll open this up, and you can see that's number 122. Dell Comics are good comics. Yes, indeed they are. I don't remember 7-Up ever having a mascot. Do they even make 7-Up anymore? I don't know that I've seen 7-Up in the stores for maybe ever. But Fresh Up Freddy was the mascot for 7-Up. I don't know who the alligator is. That might be Wally Gator for all I know. That's funny. Have fun safely with juicy fruit. You can chew gum across the street at the same time. I love comic books. All right, I wanted to look also, as long as I had that Lone Ranger 25, because I was interested to see if that was strip reprints and if this will tell us. Lone Ranger 25. Blink. Dynamite. Who's buying dynamite? Not a lot of people. Boom. 25. There it is. Wait a second. That's not the same cover. Was that actually 25? No, it's 23, you dingle-dwarf. Why have I been saying 25 all this time? I know it's 23. 23 is what I had written down. So there we go. Boom. And that's that is just a beautiful cover. Just kind of an iconic looking image that would look great in a CGC case. Especially as it had a lot of really nice eye appeal. So, interesting. The composition of this cover is somewhat similar to, though flipped, of the cover for Lone Ranger number 12. Morris Golub. Never heard of Morris Golub. The inside work was done by Till Gooden. I've never heard of Till Gooden. And it doesn't say... It says 4 tiers of panels per page, but it doesn't say if those were reprints from the comic book strip. Oh, yes, it does say from the Lone Ranger 1947 newspaper strips. Doesn't give a date range, though. So those were, these later ones, I'm sure, were done expressly for the comic book, because you can just kind of tell by the artwork. And again, unlike the gold key, the Dells have word balloons that look more like actual word balloons that are more, more friendly, more inviting. They're not as cold and mechanical as the square word balloons. And of course, because I've already decided I'm going to end up chopping this up into bits, you're like, what the hell are you talking about? If you've just come onto this Lone Ranger one. We talked about square balloons in part 1. So you'll have to go back and look for that. All right, get my glasses off and let's get into grading. These ones I want to do pretty quickly because not a lot to talk about here. I think we've exhausted the topic, as it were. You know what's interesting, actually? I want to look. It just occurred to me to wonder if these photo covers on these Lone Rangers are like movie stills or publicity stills, or if they're, could be even something cropped from something, or if they're things that were done expressly for the comic books. So, I don't know. Let's go. Issue number... What did I decide that was? 122? Dingle-dongle, dingle-bang. I just want to see what GCD has to say about that. Normally, I wouldn't spend time on this, but I'm just curious. I would just go through and do my work, do my grading, boom, boom, boom. But I'm curious, since you're here visiting and we're chatting, and it doesn't say, it just says photo cover. So I'm just wondering if it's a photo cover from something. Like, is that from a particular episode of the TV show or some kind of publicity still? Would you expect to see that image on a post? Well, probably not a poster, but on something else somewhere? Doesn't say. All right, so we'll go through these. What's the date on this? I'm just curious to show you. So this 58. So these were on the stands before the Justice League was a thing. So what is this? This is August 58, so it was probably out on the stands 2 or 3 months earlier. So this was actually probably on the stands right about the same time. No, actually, I was going to say the same time as the first appearance of the Legion of Superheroes in Adventure Comics 247, but if my memory serves, that's cover dated April, so it would have been on the stands in February. But still, this is pre-Green Lantern, Hal Jordan Green Lantern. The Flash came along in 56, so... Alright, so let's... boom, boom, boom. So we got a little bit of tanning, we got a little micro tear there. A little bit of discoloration, but not any actual blunting. We've only got one spine tick. The back looks nice. Everybody's walking and chewing gum, so they're being safe. Oh, a Lone Ranger Eagle ring. I wonder if I sent this in, if I could still get one. Be cool to have that ring and be able to sell it on eBay as a set, the book with the ring it was advertised in. So if I can't find the centerfold, that usually means it's pretty tight. Oh, look, he does have the blue suit in here. Oh, of course he does. Duh. We already established that. Never mind. Forget I said anything. I'm going to call that an 8.5. I really am. And some people would probably call it a 9, but you got a little bit of little dust shadow right there I don't like. Actually, maybe I should call it an 8. You can't win. If I call it a 8.5, someone's going to argue it's a 7. If I call it a 7, somebody's going to tell me it's a 9. I'm going to call it an 8.5. 8.5. Oh, did I put in my divider? Never mind, I'm talking to myself. What I do is, you can't see, it's off camera, but as I stack these into a short comic book box, every 5 books, I put in a backing board just to add some rigidity when I transport these from home back to work. So I did call that an 8.5. Boom, I wrote that down. And just for shits and giggles, since you're here and we're talking, we're looking, we're having fun, we're having a good time. 122, near mint, 160. 8.5, it'd be 144. That is not going to bring 144 on eBay. It's probably not going to bring 100. It's probably only going to bring about, might bring 40 or 50 each of these. And this is not your camera. Poor old Clayton Moore is actually out of focus in that photo. Why would they use that? Well, I guess it's to portray action. No. It's just out of focus is all it is. Silver Stallion issue. Holy wow. I wouldn't have bought this, but it's the special Silver Stallion issue. Oh, we got some more. Oh no, we're not walking and talking and chewing gum now. We're riding bikes and chewing gum. So, see, that's what happens. If you can't chew gum and ride a bike at the same time, you're gonna get hit. Dell Comics Club member. Oh, I want a Lone Ranger pen. See, so you can see a little bit of browning there on the edges of this cover. And yeah, I do take the paper quality into account. Centerfold's nice and tight. Inside tight. Paper browning. Cover edges browning. But otherwise, look at that. You got some color flaking there. You got just 2, 3 tiniest ticks. And a tick there. Some more color flaking there. I'm inclined to call that an 8.5 as well. If it wasn't for the paper quality, I would probably go to a 9. But just because those inside covers are kind of brown. I kind of want to call it a 9 anyway. You're looking at nothing right now because I'm just over here on the side, just still looking at those inside covers and the brownness. And I think I got to go with an 8.5 still. I don't think I can't call that a 9. Too brown. Too brown. Pool Brown. 8.5. All right, we got a Mystery Ranger here. Who is the Mystery Ranger? See, these ticks are a little stronger. 1, 2, 3. More blunting, an actual bend, some color flaking there. Oh, shoot, I was leaning towards a 7, but we got a whole, if you can see it, a whole fold right there. That's been bent in at some point. Doesn't look ripped, but it is definitely bent in. Poor old Clayton's about to get shot right in the back. Disguise issue. Well, yay. It's the Riddler! There was no disguise at all. I figured out who that was right away. Oh, now we're swimming in chewing gum. Drown. See, you can't swim in true gum. You can't, my mother always said, you can't go swimming for 30 minutes after you chew gum, because it'll weight you down and you'll sink right to the bottom and smack your head in a rock. Anyone watching this is like, you're a friggin' idiot. So, yeah, it's too bad the art wasn't more kind of dynamic. It's good art, though. It really is. I mean, it's nice and clean. I appreciate this artwork now a lot more than I would have as a kid. You know, but so question is it a 7.5 or is it a 7? I think with that kind of bend there, and you get some more bending down here in this corner if you can see it, if I'm holding the book properly, and that bend there, I probably going to call it a 7. I could get away with a 7.5. Oh no, I can't. Look at that. See that right there? See that tear? That's a tear. And actually, it's a back tear. So 7. I don't think that's a big enough deal to worry about making it a 6, but it's definitely a 7. Poor Lone Ranger. 7. That's the 10th book I've done since we've started this, and this has taken me entirely too long. Normally I'd have been through about 2 of these stacks already, but I can't grade comic books and chew gum at the same time. All right. Alrighty. It's going to be disappointing if I play this back and the battery has gone dead on me, or if I just sound completely stupid, or if the microphone isn't working. So this one has some decent eye appeal, but we've got some more issues here. There's blunting there. You got a cup, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ticks along the side, a little bit of discoloring. This is more color flaking than on the previous issues. At least it's, because of the color it takes away from the eye appeal more. We've got a chip there. We got a bend up here. Another bend in, more chips. Oh, no more chewing gum. Now we're doing rifles. You can't chew gum and shoot a rifle at the same time. That's totally not safe. Can you imagine if Daisy, I don't know if Daisy is even still around, but if Daisy advertised an air rifle in a comic book today, people would lose their shit. They'd be trying to cancel whichever comic book company did it, they'd be trying to cancel the company, and they'd be marching and protesting and burning things down and killing people, because we have to kill people to show that guns aren't safe. Oh my God, an inside ad too for more guns. These look like cap guns. Do you remember cap guns? Did you have cap guns when you were a kid? You had like a little explosive cap, and the hammer would come down and it'd go bang. Those were awesome. I used to annoy the freaking hell out of the whole neighborhood with cap guns. We'd get about 6 or 7 of us having a gunfight, and of course you'd think World War III had started. I'm looking to see who the hell. Oh, Mattel. See, Mattel. I bet you Mattel doesn't put out any kind of toy gun these days. I mean, in a world where you can't even, where even Elmer Fudd can't have a gun, for fuck's sake. Oh, I'm going to call that, I think, a 7. I don't really want to go down to a 6.5. Even though it's got a couple of chips, 1, 2, 3, it's got overall a nice appeal. And they're just not big enough that I really want to go down to a 6.5. I'm going to call that a 7, and I'm probably going to get angry letters that it's really a 6.5. But it does border, like, I mean, if you just took away that corner, bang, that's like an 8. Even with this bend up here. But just those chips right there. I'm still going to call it a 7. I'm going to call it a 7 and see who gets mad at me. If I get in the box. 7. 7. 7. Alright. Silver's kind of out of focus again. Actually, Clayton isn't in very good focus either, if you want to know the truth. That looks like it was taken from a movie still because of the, or TV film still cropped out just because of the blurriness. I don't know what the railroad stuff's all about. But it's a railroad issue. See? It says right there, railroad. That wasn't a giveaway. Let's see what we're doing on the back cover this time. I thought that might have been paper shearing, but it's not. It's actually probably off camera. You probably can't even see what I'm pointing to. Oh, it's Freddy again. Fresh Up Freddy. I'm going to have to look up Freddy after this and see how long he was the mascot. I totally don't. What? See Freddy on TV. Watch Zorro from Walt Disney Studios every week on ABC TV. So, I don't know. Probably Zorro was sponsored by 7-Up. Back then, if you're a youngling, you don't know, but back then TV shows were actually sponsored by products. It wasn't just that they aired an ad during the show, but the show was actually presented by, Draw Lincoln. Sorry, I had a little nostalgia moment there. I remember Draw Tippy, but I don't remember Draw Lincoln though. This is nice paper quality. This is nice and very little tanning. The art's a little more dynamic too, frankly. Centerfold's nice and tight. Inside's tight. More pens. A handsome ballpoint pen, no less. It's a pledge to Dell parents. Oh, and so it's a subscription form. You could get a pen that you could write in your comic books with. Little friggin' vandal. This looks like it might have been taken from a comic strip too, just because of that little wonky noodle thing. Alright, so we've had fun looking at that book together. This is definitely an 8.5. This is a 9. Because look, you got tiniest little blunting there. You've got just one spine tick, maybe a little bit two. The edges are all nice and tight. I've already told you about the paper quality inside. All the edges are tight. Just a little bit of rubbing on the back that discolors that a little bit. And some pre-foxing. Well, not even foxing. Just, I'm going to call it a 9. And we'll see who disagrees with me. I could probably call it a 9 too, but I'm going to call it a 9. All right, so this is a trail drive issue. Every issue had its own thing. Look at this, though. This is unfortunate. That's going to knock it right down to a 6.5 for me. That's too big to ignore. You know, some people would say, well, you can call that a 7 because it's really nice except for that. But, yeah, there's that, so. You want some candy, little girl? Stick that right in. Oh my God, it's life size. Hopefully she's not life size though, but the candy is. Okay, so that was fun. Let's see here. Oh my God, jumping jacks. Free comic booklets. Yeah, probably Buster Brown, right? Vasey Bristol Shoe Company. And Monet, Montana. Well, now it's going to be Monet, China is where your shoes come from. Actually, not even, ooh, look, they're upside down. Force solution, turn panel upside down. Solution to what? I'm not interested enough to look. So that's pretty good looking, but overall it is good looking, except for that's a pretty friggin' big bend right there. And it's pretty huge. So what do you think? What would you do? Because this looks like it would almost be an 859, maybe even a 92 if you're... No, not a 92. There's little ticks there and some browning. This could be an 8.5 except for that bend. So would you call it a 7? Would you call it a 6.5? What would you do? I think I'm going to call it a 7 just because it's in nice shape other than that. I mean, really nice shape. Like beautiful, wish it was in my collection shape. But that bend is... That bend just pisses me off. Makes me sad. All right, so let's look at this one. On seeing this one isn't any kind of special issue. That's a bummer. Ruthless outlaws and renegade Indians threatening the settlers. Yeah, you know, those settlers should have stayed the fuck home. Yeah, it's Freddy again. Yeah. Our pal Freddy. Who thought, 7-Up, what's the perfect mascot? I know. The Kellogg's Rooster. All right. I want to look at the inside cover. A bike! Look at that. $38.88 for a bicycle. $1.25 a week. See, even back then they were trying to get you on the credit plan, trying to hook you onto that debt. Wow. Hiawatha Vanguard. Boys or girls model. Do you remember when bikes came with like that big old honking gas tank thing? It's supposed to look like a gas tank, I guess. Because I'm a kid of the 70s, I remember, to me, bikes had banana seats. You probably don't even know what a banana seat is. You know what I want to do, though? What is this book? I'm going to take time to do this just since you're here and we're having fun. 1959. Put my glasses on. What did we say that was? $38.88? I got to look again. I'm just curious to see what that is in modern dollars. So $38.88 in 1959. So let's go to the inflatione. Well, if I could type inflation again, calculator, and boom. And we're going to go to if in 1959 my bike cost me $38.88. What do you think? I bet that's about a $300 or $400 bike. What do you think? Calculate. I was right. $342.56. That's not a cheap bike, frankly. If you want to know the truth, I could a bike out in my garage that I bought at Walmart for $110. So there's a little tiny head chewing her life-size, bite size, getting a whole mouthful. Want some candy, little girl? Do you want some candy? I'll give you some candy. That's your candy. All right, so that's a beautiful looking book. That's a beautiful. I should change my mind. Get some color flaking along the spine. You see this a lot, especially when the cover actually transverses to the back side, like that. because it wasn't cut quite 100% right, you will get color flaking on the spine. You don't get any ticks or tears, but you get all of that color flaking, which bugs me. I'm going to call that an 8, just because of that color flaking. No, I'm going to call it an 8.5. I would call it a 9 if it wasn't for that. Maybe even a 9.2. Maybe a 9.8. I'd call that a 10.4. No, I'm going to call it an 8. Is it time to flip yet? No. 8 is great. If I could skate a figure 8. The younglings are like, what's that song from? Tell me, Grandpa. Tell me about Schoolhouse Rock, Grandpa. All right. This is a nice looking book, too. And Clayton's in focus this time, so that's exciting. Or most of his faces, anyways. Da-da-da-da-da. Oh, we've lost little Susie. And we've also given up on depicting these as actual size. A beaver bear. Oh my goodness. A beaver bear. What's the thing we used to chase through the woods? Somebody would put a wiffle hen? No, it wasn't a wiffle hen. What's the thing we called it? Somebody, like, stick a bunch of nails in a board and drag it through the woods, and then the rest of us would have to, like, try and track it. This is how we had fun before video games. Anyway, we had a name for what the animal was we were supposed to be tracking, and I can't remember. So if you grew up in Central Maine in the mid-'70s, by all means, leave a comment below and remind me what it is I'm thinking of. See Perry Como's Craft Music Hall on NBC TV. Look at that. Every kid buying comic books was into Perry Como. Oh, look. Oh, see, I got kind of excited because it was a statement of ownership. I thought it was going to give us it does give us a circulation. So the Lone Ranger, as you can see, average number of copies of each issue sold or distributed through the mail or otherwise to paid subscribers during the 12 months preceding the dates shown above, which was October 1, 1960. So October 1959 to September 1960, the average sales of the Lone Ranger, 408,711 copies. Hoo-ha, motherfucker. Today, you have comic books that don't sell 8,711 copies. The average DC or Marvel book probably sells around 30,000. So, there's what the rise of corporate America and the loss of mom-and-pop corner newsstands did for you. Along with video games and television and all that stuff. So the price has gone up to 15 cents. Most comic books didn't go up to 15 cents until around 1970. This is 1961, this book. Dell went up a little earlier. Nice looking book. Nice looking book. Little tick there, little tick there, little tick there. Little bump there. Little color flaking there. About 27 things wrong with this book, but it's a nice looking book. Now I'm going to call that a 9. I am. You can't stop me. I'm a crazy man. You cannot stop me from calling that a 9. Niner. 49er. All right, so that's a 9. 9. Number 9. Number 9. Number 9. And here we go. Clayton, what are you doing to that horse? He's looking just a little too affectionate with Silver there, don't you think? I don't like this logo as much. I like the mask logo better. So if it's 15 cents and 15 cents, does that mean it's 30 cents? I'm so confused. Twinkies? No, Twinkles. This is some kind of cereal I've never heard of. Probably because it had shitty mascots. Huh. What is it? 3 Twinkles Magic Sponge Toys. Every box of cereal comes with its own contraceptive, girls. If you're a slut, buy multiple boxes. 30 cents. It's cheaper than a condom. All right. Oh, I love this ad. This ad ran well into the 70s. Revolutionary War Soldiers for $1.98. That was something else I wish, just like Sea Monkeys, I always wished I'd actually sent away for that. Oh, zingy, dreamy, loafers, hooray. Who doesn't want a green loafer? Grit! Do you remember Grit? Oh, I think Grit is actually still around. You look it up. You Google Grit. Make sure you're not at work. You don't know what you're going to get. But, oh, there are those damn caramels again. Yeah, let's see, we're just flailing for mascots now. We gave up on the bite-sized little girl and the beaver bear, and now it's a tiger horse. Well, that's just some weird-ass Island of Dr. Moreau shit. That's what that is. I'm gonna call this one a 9 as well. Boing, boing, boing. Because you've got like virtually nothing going on here. I could call it a 9 too, because there's not a single tick on that spine. Oh, well, there's a slight non-color breaking bend there, and there, and there. And there, and there, and there, and there, and there. All right, so I'll call it a 9. But you're not going to find many 9 Lone Rangers out there, you know. You look on eBay. You look all day. You're not going to find many 9s or any cereals with the contraceptive sponge toy inside. All right. So this is a special issue. He said, his voice rising 3 octaves because he just went through puberty. This is the Lone Ranger Golden West, number 1. Number 1. That's exciting. So it's basically the exact same book as the Lone Ranger. It's just like bigger. Bigger is better. Photo covers on the back. Oh, this is sad. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, there's a bunch of them there. I can't call that an 8 or 7, 5. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And they're all actual tears, not just pens. Although, see, you can't see many on the front. You got to look at both sides, kids. You got to flip her over and look at the other side. She tits up or tits down. This is definitely a tits up book. You do her tits down, you're not going to like what you see. The video's going to get flagged for misogyny. I just want to, I'm curious to see if this was a one-shot. He's a demon on wheels. I don't know why I'm singing Speed Racer when I should be singing Lone Ranger. Golden West. Not a golden shower, a golden west. The Lone Ranger Golden West. 1 issue. Oh, wait a second. 1 issue, in 1955 and then 1966, so Western reprinted it. 55, though. See? You wanker. You're looking at the wrong book. I wonder if the 66, because it is Gold Key. This is after the Dell Western split. So it's Gold Key, and there it is. Boop-a-doo, boop-a-doo-ba-doo. I bet you it is. It's a reprint of that 55 book. But you're not going to find the 55 book, so you might as well buy this one. And they are all... Oh, no, it's all reprinted from... Well, so now we got to go to that other book. So let's... Oh, no. Lone Ranger's Golden West was an ongoing series, it looks like. And so what's in this book all comes from the earlier Dell series number 3. Oh, that's exciting. Super exciting. It's super. I'm ethereal, guys. I'm super ethereal. Super ethereal. 66. So this book's 1 year older than me. A little more than a year. And in a hell of a lot better condition. I'm going to call it a 7. That's not enough, really, I don't think, to go down to it. Well, you know, it kind of is. A 6.5. You turn it over, and those are some ugly looking things. But from the front, it's a nice looking book. Get a little bend down there, too. It's a hard job to call it a 6.5, though, because the rest of the book looks so nice. And even these little ticks on the cover and that little rub there. I'm going to call it a 7. I am going to call it a 7. Hooray, hooray. All right, well, we spent a lot of time in the Lone Ranger. I don't even know how many. Oh, I do say battery low.